Hey guys, welcome into a Little Patch Kitchen here today. I am going to be preserving some pumpkin. My pumpkin started to mold, and I've basically I've used some of it for my meal tonight, and then I'm going to preserve the rest of it in the freezer today. So I just thought I'd quickly take you through the process of how to preserve pumpkin in the freezer. See, I have here on my bench, I currently have the pumpkin. I'm making them quite big chunky pieces. They are not uniform because I really don't know how to cut up a pumpkin to make them uniform unless you're using a machine to dice them really small, but I'm having large chunky ones today. This is 1/4 or just under 1/4 of the pumpkin that's left to be peeled. You can leave the skin on if you like. I prefer the skin off myself, so you can see that it was a pretty big pumpkin that I've got here. So I've taken 1/4 of it into my meal. That's half there, and then that's the other 1/4 sitting there. So, and minus this piece here. So you can see that it started to mold on the outside of the pumpkin. What causes it, I don't know. It could have been moisture in the skin. It could have just been a bacteria that it's gotten onto it. So I've basically cut out all the bad bits. I mean, I could take the bits off the end here and use them, but I'm not that particularly worried because I do have probably another 3 or so pumpkins the same size as this one in the freezer. So the process basically I've done so far is take your seeds out, take your skin off. I'm going to rinse them, and today I'm actually going to use the pressure cooker. So I've got my pressure cooker insert here. Steam that in my pressure cooker for all of it, probably only going to do about 2 minutes. Or the least, I think the least amount I can do on this is actually 3 minutes. So, which is why I've also done them quite chunky as well. It's a very simple process to freeze vegetables. You know, you prep your vegetable. In this case, the pumpkin does take a bit of time because they are quite heavy and hard to deal with. And then, you know, you steam or boil or whatever, whichever way you want to do. Let them dry off and then put them on a, these ones I'll be putting on a flat tray so they don't stick together in the bags when I store them in the freezer bags. So, yeah, I'll just let you watch and we'll get the process done. Pumpkin has cooled down enough for me to handle it. Now I'm just going to use one of my baking trays here, so to make my life easier and getting it off here, I just use some parchment paper or baking paper, whichever way to use it. Just enough to cover the thing sheet. Quick handy tip is if the paper curls, you don't want it to curl, give it a scrub. Especially towards the end of the roll, it gets a lot more, and then it sits out flat. So I usually just fold in my sides so that I don't have all these extra bits of paper, because they are never the right size for your trays. There we go. And then basically, I'm not putting oil or anything like that on there. I'm just going to get hold of it, put the pumpkin on the tray. So leave a little bit of gap so that they freeze evenly between each of the pieces. You'll find some of the bits are a little more done than others, just from the difference in size, but they will freeze still just fine. So I'm just going to quickly show you how I put these in the freezer. I just put them in straight in like that, no cover, no nothing. If you want to cover them, that's fine, but I found that there's not an issue. So yeah, come back the next day, so 24 hours later, and put them into your freezer bags. I've discovered that these push seal ones open a lot easier than the slip side ones. So this is what I mean by the slip slide ones. These ones have got the little slider that slides backwards and forwards. So these will be the ones that I will be opting for from now on in the freezer. So they'll stay there like that overnight, along with the rest of the ones that I'll put in here. And then tomorrow I will come and I will put them into my lock seal bags, and the pumpkin. Don't forget to label, date and tag them. Don't waste your pumpkin. You use half a pumpkin. Just quickly boil it up for a little bit, for a couple of minutes to blanch it off. Stick it in the freezer on a tray, and then get it into some bags, and you've got some instant pumpkin that you haven't had to go to the shop and pay for again when you want pumpkin. Guys, thanks for joining us down here at Little Patch. We'll see you on the next vid.